Yo, what's up guys, Incremental here, and I'm back with another video to show you some of the best tips and tricks for ranked solo battle royale. Stay tuned. Before we start, I'm announcing a giveaway of 2,800 V-Bucks, so to enter, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to lock in your spot for our giveaway. Also, comment done if you completed the giveaway steps, and I'll reach out to you as quick as I can. So one of the most important settings is to have your window mode set to full screen to have the lowest input delay and the highest frame rate possible. So the next setting will be resolution, which should always be set to 1920 by 1080. If you choose other than that, your game's gonna look like a potato, especially on performance mode, but if you have a lower end PC, I understand that, and you probably should lower your resolution. Just beware, it might look bad. VSync, keep this off unless you're experiencing a lot of stutters in your game. So for this setting, you should just keep it to your monitor's refresh rate. For example, I have a 144 Hz monitor, so I just use it at 144. Otherwise, you could just add like one more setting to maximize performance, but I recommend you, if you have a 240 Hz monitor or a 360, cap it at that number. Do not cap it at unlimited, because then it just eats all your power from your PC. Just keep it to your monitor's refresh rate. Next setting would be performance mode. Always keep it to performance mode, but if you have an AMD graphics card, keep it to DirectX 12. Just copy these settings for graphics because this is very important for this season. If you go to places like Rebel's Roost or Doomstat, you have a very dark surrounding, so just keep it to the highest setting, 150 brightness, and keep the colorblind mode to Trino because it's very bright. Keep to 10. Now we go on to graphics quality. Keep the 3D resolution at 100 and view distance low, everything else low. But if you have a very high-end PC, keep this to epic, your view distance, or medium if you just have a medium end PC, because that is very important, so you can see loot from farther away. Even if you're just like meters, hundreds of meters away, you can see loot and what gun it is or what loot it is. That's very important, so keep it to medium or high. Then keep your sound low. Most of the time you don't really need that high of sound effects, so most of the time you just have visual sound effects, so turn this on. It's very important. You can see where people are, the footsteps, and that's very important. Next setting would be to have, you could just copy all of these, but these are the best settings for building and mechanics. So keep them both on. And yeah, the rest of the settings don't really matter except FOV. Turn the replays off for better FPS and energy, so you save some frames and you don't really have to have that much recording saved and it doesn't eat up your PC. And now we move on to game UI. So to turn on and to see your ping, you should just turn on net debug stats and latency debug stats. You'll probably see that if you have an NVIDIA graphics card. And this is the way to have the best reticle. You have this on, and list hidden icons. It shows you the number like cumulatively, like so it adds up. So that's very important. Keep this at 125 and keep a low HUD scale, because it keeps, if it's really big, it's hard to see other stuff that pops up, especially in reload. It's very annoying when everything just pops up at once and it's just very hectic on your screen. Don't mess with this. This is very, crappy for controller. And then mouse sensitivity, I like to keep it at a low setting, but it doesn't really matter. You don't really have to mess around with this, just keep it at the normal stuff, like the normal settings. So, and then these are my keybinds. You could look at it, slow the video down if you want to, but it's just how it is. Yeah, you probably can't see that. So if you use controller, I sometimes use controller, so these are my settings. It's really good. It feels like the OG controller feel. So even if you're using advanced options, just keep this at 10 and 10 because it does have some impact on your sense. So 2.2 and then 2.4. I have a PlayStation 5 controller, so for me these are the best settings. I also use some thumbsticks, so it's way better if you have that fast movement. So 38, 39, 18, and 6. This greatly benefits your look settings and how fast you can turn right and left. It's very beneficial. Linear, and these are my deadstone stats, and yeah, that's basically it. So one of my first in-game tips is to not listen to music while you're playing the game. It's highly beneficial to not use music because you can get distracted in the lyrics or just the tunes and you can't hear your own game. So my next tip is to always pick up the gatekeeper every single time. If you're encountering a sovereign, a gold sovereign, purple hammer, always pick a gatekeeper, even if it's green. It's the best option. It's fast if you're in a box fight. Also, if you ever have an AR option, the combat, the striker, and the AUG, always pick the AUG over the striker and the combat. Most consistent, especially if it has a red dot. This one doesn't, but if it has a red dot, then it's the best AR by far. Another tip is, if you land somewhere that's conned and you get a gun and you get some shield, instantly rush after taking your shield because that's when you can get the most kills. Endgame is a little bit harder to get your kills because then it's a full-on build fight and you get triple teamed and it's very hard. So if you get kills early game, it's the most easiest way. It's the most easiest way to get your kills. Also, another quick tip is to get mats early game. It's very important to get your wood up and your brick up early because if you get into a big build fight, you have the most mats and you don't have to worry about escaping or jumping down because you have nothing. Although the meta is currently AR and shotgun, SMG is still a good option, just never pick the dual micro SMGs. Also, another mechanic that you should always use is pick up the jetpack, and once you get in the air, you want to shift, and the shift actually has an initial boost. So once you first shift, it gives you a quicker boost. So what you want to do is cancel. It's kind of like slide cancel after you run, like that, but you're doing it in the air. So right as you get in the air and you hit the shift button, cancel it so you get that boost. This is another example of the mechanic. In this fight, I noticed that he wanted to engage in a build fight, so I go and try to take height, but I noticed that he got it, and he tries to play a little bit aggressive with his shotgun, so I back off and I get out of the box. I let him in because he's right on top of me, and I finish the kill. Once I notice that he's on low ground, I drop and I shoot his floor on top of his head to get the floor. Now I notice that he's right below me, so now he has the advantage to get a shot off, but I can place a wall right in front of him and take his floor that's on top of his head to get full control of the situation.
Thank you.